Hello everybody, it's Rod with Power Group. We're going to get started here in a few minutes. We'll give it a couple minutes for people to join us. So just sit tight and we'll get started with the MJ sector review, and today's a review for April 28th. We'll give it a couple minutes for people to join us. Welcome everybody. We're going to get started here in about 30 seconds. We're just going to give it a couple more minutes for people to join us. Okay, welcome everybody. I see we have some people joining us, so welcome. It's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back in the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review. Today's a review for Wednesday, April 28th, and we had a pretty exciting day on our hands. I'm not sure most of you expected this. I didn't expect the move to be today, and we did have some news for HEXO, but HEXO and BAMM leading the gainers today and leading the Canadian and the American MJ sectors higher. So jumping right into today's content, we'll look at some news and events, and then we'll look at the Canadian and the US MJ sectors. But before we do, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. So HEXO, and I don't think this news had anything to do with the move today in HEXO. It may have created some strength and been a little bit of the reason why it was at the top of the list. But personally, I think HEXO was just set up better than technically on the charts, better than most of the other LPs, and that was evident today in the percentage gain. But this news nonetheless was very beneficial for the company as HEXO Corp receives Control Union Medical MJ Standard GACP certification. So nice to see that they're getting some further certification and just recognition, and just continues to be at the forefront of innovation. And Fire and Flower today had Q4 revenue increases of 157% to 43.2 million. And they had the second consecutive quarter of positive adjusted EBITDA of 1.5 million for the fourth quarter of 2020, and positive adjusted EBITDA for the year. So Fire and Flower standing out as the lead retailer in Canada. And Canadian cannabis sales grow 74% in February to 263 million, slowing down a little bit though from prior months. But we'll see if that can pick up into the summertime when people are celebrating a little bit more outside. A lot of people are just staying home, especially with everything and cases ramping up. So we'll see. There's talks of potential government reform to allow cannabis-infused beverage to be in different bars and restaurants and venues and events this summer. So if we see the recovery and everybody, return back to normalcy, and we see that the shots are rolling out, and like I said, just the labor market's getting back. We've seen retail sales grew today as well. So starting to see some promising signs in the economy. Also, Texas lawmakers approve MJ and psychedelics reform bills. And also wanted to share, going to be joining a call on Friday. So this was shared on LinkedIn. It's a virtual meet and greet with HEXO's executive team essentially. And this is open to industry professionals, retail sales associates, managers, and owners. I signed up anyway. We'll see if they allow me to be on there, but POW Group is going to do its best to tune into that, and we'll let you know any updates prior to that, but that is on Friday, April 30th, full session day from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll move on to some charting. Hello, my Canadian neighbor. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. So we broke out of the falling wedge today on HEXO, and that, like I said, is why we saw a huge bull move today, is just technically speaking. I don't think this news was attributed for the move, as we had a sea of green right across the board. And like I said, HEXO leading Zenabis actually passed HEXO, but we'll consider that HEXO for the time being until we see that shareholder vote meeting coming up on the 13th of May. So that'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow. And that's closing in soon. But seeing a huge weekly move here. If we just take a look at APHA, we haven't really bounced that much on the weekly. We just barely broke the weekly inside bar. And if we take a look at some other names, same thing with OGI, Tilray, just barely breaking it. If we take a look at CGC, hasn't even broke it yet. It's still an inside bar, so a little bit weaker there. Cron, same deal. And then look at HEXO. Massive breakout. So from the break of last week's high, we're up 15%. So HEXO definitely standing out as the lead bull. And we've been saying on this channel for a while now that EMA 12 has been rejecting the price since the earnings reaction at $8.50. So we knew to be watching for a bounce eventually. And like I said, we had that falling wedge, which is generally a bullish pattern. When you see the price tightening up, you're basically seeing new lower lows, but not much follow through. You scout falling wedges. When you see a downtrend when you see each new lower low getting follow through, not much follow through, but seeing a new lower low, you know to start scouting for a potential falling wedge. And these are generally bullish patterns that see a bullish breakout, and it's usually a reversal pattern. And this broke bullish here today, but keep in mind, we still haven't changed the daily trend on HEXO. This wasn't at 1 cent here, I think on April 23rd yet. So 1 cent is not enough of a pullback to be considered a daily uptrend. So we were coming off a daily downtrend. We have a ton of room now to form a daily high or low. So we could pull back from these levels about 25% and still just be looking for a daily high or low, and then we'll attempt a daily trend change. What I said yesterday was what bulls would want to potentially see was a higher low into a higher high, change that trend, and break through EMA 26, but bulls said, nope, we don't care. And in classic MJ fashion, we just completely rock it. And a lot of people were likely, for the last couple of days, were like, oh, I'm going to buy the next dip, right? The next daily high or low. And in classic MJ fashion, they continue to just run it, and huge bounce off the lows. We're looking at about a 33% bounce. And that left a lot of people scrambling today, trapped some shorts and trapped some longs. Longs were hoping for potential daily consolidation today. Didn't get it. We saw some huge volume on the day as well. And we did have a little bit of an upper wick, but very bullish day. We closed above EMA 26, which was super bullish as well. Like I said, EMA 12 was rejecting it for the last month or so. And then we crossed above it. And then yesterday we lost it, but we closed the day right on it and confirmed support. And here we go today, seeing follow through of that daily inside bar and bull break. So congrats to the bulls who bought the dip. I was buying this dip heavy. And even when that 1.2 billion base shelf came out, I was buying the dip like you wouldn't believe. And when everybody said, oh, dilution, I wasn't buying it. And we knew to be looking out for dilution. They were talking about being in talks with other companies in terms of mergers and acquisitions. They're also looking at potential CPG partners, all of which is going to require money. And if they do acquire Zenabis, they're going to take on some additional debt there as well. So it'll be used to pay off that debt in the future if everything goes to, according to plan. And if you are a Zenabis shareholder, I encourage you to get out and vote on the 13th of May. So taking a look at HEXO here on the weekly. So we do have the 10-week moving average sitting at 652. We closed at 656, so if we can close the week above that and start to see, we were already seeing the MACD start to curl bullish here, and if we can see a bull cross of that MACD and the stochastic as well into the end of the week, that would be best case scenario. But step number one, close above the 10-week moving average at 652. If we look at the weekly moving average, we could be setting a potential top around 740. So if we continue to bounce into the end of the week here, we'll be looking at 740 as a potential rejection zone, as it has been rejecting the price for several weeks now since this huge move from the bottom and the 52-week lows. But we topped out right at the 200 weekly moving average, and the 100 weekly moving average has been proving strong resistance. So we'll anticipate resistance once again, but if we can close the week over 740, that will be extremely bullish as well. And we can see the 50 weekly starting to curl here in a quite dramatic fashion. On the daily moving averages, we topped out today right at the 50 moving average, the 50 day. So that was at 669. The high of the day was 673. So we poked above it just barely and ultimately pulled back and closed below it. So if we do pull back tomorrow, potentially watch a pullback to around the 619 to confirm support around the 100-day moving average. But again, bulls got tons of room for a daily high or low. So on the bear list, we had VLNS and CanTrust. Labs was flat, Love was flat, NSP, TGOD. We had OGI, Tilray, and PCLO with notable moves as well. So moving on to the US cannabis space, BAMM also leading the bull list here. Next was KBEV TAT with a nice good green day as well, up over 12%. Another name that our group is extremely bullish on and been buying the dip recently. And they recently submitted an application to uplist to the NASDAQ. So we'll see if there's any further developments there. VREO, BEV, and MMEN led the decline today. But BAMM, solid move. And off the lows we hit the low of, what was it, 48 cents? We had a double bottom there as well. So if you entered on that double bottom from 48 cents, you're looking at, again, HEXO from the lows 33 and BAMM from the lows 31, 32%. And these are probably the two most bullish MJ names our group is involved with at the moment. And we're closing above the EMA 12, which was rejecting the price as well for a very long time on BAMM since we lost it. And we tried to close. We had a little bit of a fake out there and a little bit of a bull trap. And then again, just continued that slow grind and slide, drifting. And then today, massive breakout. And congrats to the bulls on this daily inside bar that broke bullish. But again, closed over the EMAs, which is extremely strong. We have a lack of resistance up until 74. And key support now will be at 48. And we'll anticipate a possible daily inside bar tomorrow. Wouldn't be surprised to see follow through tomorrow and further upside from here. As like I said, once MJ is boring until it's not. It's kind of like crypto in that way. And generally when it moves, it doesn't, a lot of people want to wait for a daily high or low or an hourly high or low or hourly oversold, whatever it is that you're waiting for. Generally that day never comes and they end up making you FOMO in when you never thought you would. So just taking a look at MSOS to get an overall feel for the large cap MSOs. So again, this move all off the lows, coming off daily downtrends like most MJ names. We've still yet to change the daily trend. We do have increasing bull volume over the 20-period moving average, which is extremely bullish. We're still a long ways away from daily oversold. But as long as we maintain this higher low every candle pattern, the daily bounce is still very much underway. And we have some resistance up at 44.68. So again, wouldn't be surprised if we saw further continuation tomorrow, but the low of the day today, tomorrow, is going to be extremely important at 40.45. If we lose 40.45, daily consolidation is underway. And we'll anticipate, if we just see a small pullback, it could be a daily bull flag. And then we'll want to see declining bear volume. And we don't want to see notable amounts of bear volume. We want to see a small amount of bear volume drying up and then a potential for a higher low to form compared to 37.56. Tons of room. Got about 10% or so. So again, the more we run here, the more bulls are forming space and creating space for that higher low. So if you're a bull, you're watching that daily higher low pattern. And if you're looking for entries, again, just be cautious. They tend to run these, when everybody's hoping for a higher low. MJ is just notorious for that. All right, so pretty much going to end it there. Taking a look and see if there's any questions. I'll give it a couple minutes here. If anybody has any ticker requests, See, we got quite a people joining us today, so welcome, welcome. Hope you had an awesome day today. It was quite the day in the MJ space. SPY hitting all-time highs. Didn't do my broader market video today, but you can expect a broader market update shortly after this video. But I know a lot of people wanted to check into the MJ space, knew they couldn't wait until I got online and did the recap. So thought I'd prioritize that today. And again, I'll give it another minute or so. If anybody has any questions, any ticker requests, happy to address those. Loving the action here in the MJ space. And keep in mind that we were just at $8.50 and $11 on HEXO not too long ago, and APHA up over $30 at all-time highs, and not really any news that was really, moving that. It was just basically, some short squeezing and no real, U.S. legalization news or safe banking. There wasn't any real hype there. So what's going to happen when the hype really sets in, right? What's going to happen when we see a level of crypto hype or the Tesla hype that we saw, right? We basically got no mainstream media coverage on MJ at the moment at all. Like, you go on any website at the moment and, whether it be CNN, BNN, CNBC, there's nothing talking about MJ stocks. So what's going to happen when they are all broadcasting MJ on the main headline and front page? All I can say is get ready, because I think we're in for some fireworks here pretty soon. So, going to end it there. Thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for an MJ Sector review, and we shall see you guys a little bit later for a daily market recap, and we'll take a look at the broader market. Best of luck going into tomorrow and the rest of the week, and we'll see